We do not want children taken away from their parents. We can enforce our immigration laws without breaking families apart. The administration says it wants Congress to act, and we are.
Well, the House is scheduled to vote on 2 immigration bills today. One would give only temporary protections to Dreamers and at the same time cut legal immigration. The other provides nearly $25 billion for Trump's border wall and at the same time limits legal immigration while providing a path to citizenship for DACA recipients. And there's been a big change in the last 24 hours regarding the controversial zero-tolerance policy at the border, but it's leaving a lot of people with a lot of questions, including our own city leaders.
The mayor and most council members are in El Paso this morning trying to get information on what is going to happen to the thousands of young refugees separated from their families. Now, KXAN's political reporter Phil Prazen is live from downtown El Paso with the latest. Good morning.
Good morning, Sally. Mayor Steve Adler arrived last night. City council members are arriving this morning. They're here with the United States Conference of Mayors. They're going to join mayors of other major cities today. Eric Garcetti of Los Angeles, Bill de Blasio of New York. Now, they were here to see the infamous tent city in Tornillo that housed children being separated from their family and to call on the Trump administration to end that policy. But late yesterday, President Trump signed that executive order temporarily ending that policy for specific families for around 20 days. So now the mayors will hold a press conference this morning in Tornillo, then try and get some answers from federal officials about what's going on after the executive order.
It appears like it leaves a lot of open questions. It appears as if the zero-tolerance policy continues. You know, it's not good to have children in cages. It's not good to have children in cages whether they're with the parents or not with the parents.
And what about those hundreds of children that are already separated from their families? We're going to take a closer look in a half hour. But John and Sally, late last night there was a new poll from the University of Texas out that said 57% of Texans disagree with the policy of separating families at the border. However, Republicans specifically, 46 to 35 support it.
Phil, what is the governor saying about this policy?
The governor's office released a letter to the press that he sent to all of the Texas congressmen and the 2 senators, Senator Cruz and Senator Cornyn, yesterday, saying pretty much that this is a ridiculous situation and that this should be urging those elected leaders to make some type of bipartisan deal. He did remind it, he said Texans aren't stupid. They know they need 60 votes in the Senate to come up with an immigration policy that includes Democrats. So he pretty much told elected leaders to come away from the microphones and then talk to each other and find a deal for some long-term solution here.
Phil, I read something yesterday or last night before going to bed that somebody from NBC had talked to some of the Customs and Border Patrol agents down there at the facility in Tornillo, and they were saying, well, we don't know what we're supposed to do next. What do we do with these kids? What, if anything, are you hearing about the next steps that happen?
Well, everybody has those same questions. I received a press release from the Department of Justice, maybe just about a half hour after President Trump made the announcement that he's going to have an executive order reversing his policy of separating children at the border. They were still under the impression that they were operating as they were. Then the executive order came, and now today everybody's just trying to figure out what that looks like on the ground, right? Is this just not separating families crossing the border now, or is this some type of reunification plan for the children who have already been separated? City Council is here, Mayor Steve Adler is here. Those are the same questions they have. John and Sally, back to you.
All right, Phil, thank you very much. So another question, too, is how much is it costing to hold all of these children in tent cities? According to an official with the Department of Health and Human Services, $775 a night per kid. And if you're wondering, that is much higher than the cost of keeping them with their parents. NBC News cites officials who say the sudden urgency to bring in security, air conditioning, medical workers, government contractors, everything you need for this, that's what caused the price to balloon. Meanwhile, it costs about $256 a night to hold children in permanent health and human services facilities. Mayor of Austin and most of the city council are in El Paso this morning, and in a few hours from now, they're going to be going to the nearby border town of Tornillo.
That's the area immigrant children are being housed. The mayor and council have questions for federal officials. They want to know what's going to happen now that the president has signed an executive order ending the separation of families. But this change is now sparking a whole lot of confusion over how the new guidelines will be played out. KXAN's political reporter Phil Prazen is live for us in El Paso with the latest. Good morning, Phil.
Good morning, Sally. I spoke to Austin Mayor Steve Adler last night, and he had the same question a lot of people have. What's going to happen to the children who are already separated at the border? Now, they're under the care of the staff at the Office of Refugee Resettlement. They contract with more than 40 placement agencies and shelters across the country. 15 of those are in Texas, but those 15 licensed by the state are overcrowded, and Texas already has a notorious lack of foster parents already. That's why you see this tent city and temporary shelters popping up along the border. There is not another concrete plan to put them. Earlier this week, the city of Houston very publicly rejected a shelter request from the federal government. But Mayor Adler told me these children are welcome in Austin.
Austin would welcome these immigrants into our community and help provide protection and a safe place while their cases are being determined. That's one of the wonderful and magic things that I think is true about the character and soul and spirit of Austin, Texas.
Now, you might have heard that train go through. It's going through right through the middle of downtown El Paso. But the city of Austin budget right now has about $250,000 that your taxes are helping pay for the legal defense of some immigrants through the deportation system. In that interview that you just heard, Mayor Adler told me that's not enough. John, Sally.
So, Phil, the mayor kind of alluded to that idea of perhaps bringing some of these children here to Austin. Did he give any sense of how that might come about, what it might look like? Would it be in some of these shelters that we've seen? Are we talking foster homes? Any idea how that might happen if it were to happen?
Well, there are already about 138 children living with somebody in Travis County that have been separated from their parents. That's according to the state health department. But then, you know, there's really two options here, right? There are the big shelters, right, that you're seeing, and some of those are in Austin. A couple of those companies are in Austin, the notable one at Southwest Key. But then also foster parents or the people who voluntarily, temporarily take children that are refugees already. It's that same system. The problem is there's just always not enough parents and families to take refugees in this state.
This morning, Austin Mayor Steve Adler, as well as the majority of the city council, are going to be touring a tent city in Tornillo, Texas.
Yeah, the campus housing children who have been separated from their families since the start of that zero tolerance policy. But late yesterday, President Trump signed an executive order temporarily ending that policy. The president says his administration's policy remains in place, but children will stay with their parents. Austin's mayor is in Tornillo this morning. He and other city council members have some questions for federal officials.
Yeah, they also want to know what's going to happen to these migrant children now that the president has signed the executive order stopping the separation of families. KXAN's Phil Prazen is in El Paso this morning. And Phil, the city says they are open to the idea of hosting these immigrant children.
They are. Both Austin Mayor Steve Adler and Councilman Greg Casar told us that yesterday, and then they will find out more information about how they can help later today. There's going to be a press conference at 9 a.m. in Tornillo. That's about 40 minutes from where I am now in downtown El Paso. They're here with mayors from across the country with the United States Conference of Mayors, and really they want to do two things. The first is just raise awareness about this issue and their opposition of holding children separate from their families. And then they hope to ask questions. How will families be reunited after President Trump's executive order? And how can cities help? Mayor Steve Adler told me last night Austin would welcome these refugees to area shelters and into local families. Council member Greg Casar agrees, and he specifically wants to talk to the children being detained.
This is clearly city business. My district is home to many people from all over the world, refugees, asylees, recent immigrants, children of immigrants. I'm the child of immigrants myself, and people in this community deeply care about what is going on in our state and in our country. And as city officials, we want to send a strong message that we don't want these families incarcerated. We want these families to be a part of our community, and the city of Austin stands ready.
Now, there was a poll late last night from the Texas Tribune and the University of Texas that showed that the majority of Texans disapproved of that policy of separating children from their parents at the borders, but more Republicans supported that policy than were against it. We're going to look into that issue on KXAN News later today at noon, and then also at 5 and 6. John, Sally.
Phil, it's interesting to see how different groups are responding to this. The sheriff in El Paso is saying he doesn't want his deputies patrolling the tent city in Tornillo, and the mayor of Houston is saying he doesn't want to be able to house these children because they think that it sends a message that it's okay. But the mayor is saying something else of Austin, right?
He is. He says that it's in the spirit of Austin's community. They've done this in the past with Hurricane Harvey. Remember all those people looking for shelter? They came up to the city of Austin to find shelter, and the mayor said that that's just part of the DNA of Austin. That's also Greg Kassar, councilman from North Austin, who says that, hey, there are a lot of immigrants that live in his district, so they would fit right in. And then it's not just the governments, the city of Houston, as you said, the sheriff here in El Paso, as you said, but there are a lot of private businesses, including the airlines. Texas-based American Airlines came out and said, don't fly children around the country who've been separated from their families. So it is private businesses, and then everybody's kind of having their own reaction to it. And that's what makes your city elected officials so important.
Now, Phil, there's obviously a political aspect to all of this as well. Do you get the sense from the mayor or the council members that are there that the federal government will be willing to accept their help that they're offering to help at this point, or could politics also get in the way there?
Once again, that's going to depend on a city-by-city issue. Now, the Department of Homeland Security actually approached the city of Houston to say, hey, we need a place to house these children. And the city of Houston, Mayor Sylvester Turner there very publicly said, don't bring them here if they've been separated from their families. So they are looking for help. Once again, this state does not have enough foster parents. Once again, there are always in short supply of shelters for refugees for years before this, and then this just heightens the problem. That's why you see so many children just living in tent cities here on the border. John, Sally.